to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva. And I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Per. I am just drinking on some water. Hydration is important. So get your water, drink it, stay hydrated, people. And while you're at it, you can get your cup mug. Ooh, oh no, I lost mine.
Oh no.
Oh no, I lost it. I, I literally don't know where it
Can you
is.
tell we have it all together today and nothing has gone wrong?
Oh, there it is. Found it.
There
Uh
we
huh.
go.
Panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Dear, 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 dear. Delano Island edition. So you can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at lanagscreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So there are no excuses. Get your cup merch. Period.
And hello, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and I would never tell you to go into the woods to get me a case that only gets me safety. I would always work with you, and you need to stop doubting that fact. Just
I
stop.
don't doubt it.
It's
I don't
normal.
doubt that. I would never do that to you either, Jack. I just want you to know I would never send you into the woods and make you get a case that only keeps me safe.
And I just have some orange juice mixed with iced tea because I am partially sick. So this will be a fun one.
We'll try to make it as quick and painless for you, Jack, as possible. So we're gonna get right into talking about Deal and No Deal Island, but you know what we gotta do? We need you all to subscribe to this channel. We are trying our hardest to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We are going to do our part by giving you all the content that we can give you at a speedy current time where everything makes sense and it's not days late. We're working hard to make sure that all of our content is good content that is easy to follow and easy to appreciate and all of that. So we are going to do our part. All we need you to do is just hit the button. That's it. It takes less than a second to do it. So hit the subscribe button, hit the follow and all the notification bell so you don't miss a video. And you can follow us on all of our other channels. We have 3 other channels that you can subscribe to, which is our drag channel, our Eurovision Song Contest channel, and our Ringside channel, which covers all things WWE. So if you are interested in any of those, follow all those channels. Those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links that you need to check us out on the go. Follow our audio podcast links. And our Patreon link is down there as well. We are doing some great stuff in our Patreon channel for you. So if you want to get to know this panel a little bit more, see what we do behind the scenes when we're not talking about Deal or No Deal Island or anything else like that. Check out our Patreon. We got a lot of fun stuff coming your way for that as well. So, Jack, let's get into it because we were left on a cliffhanger last week.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say for almost one of the first times in the show's history, we are left on a moment of not knowing what happens at the temple.
Right.
And we come back to Philip saying, if you come for me, I will go underground to the point that Harriet Tubman has to call you in order to run.
And tell you to run.
So, I mean, we are starting with CK having essentially a 50-50 coin flip.
Yep.
She can either take a deal of, correct me if I'm wrong here, but about $600,000.
Or 645.
Or she can go with her case, hoping it is around $2 million instead of a low value.
Yep. And she decides that she is going to just take the deal. She said, I want to do this for the group. And so we will do 600. We'll take this deal and go and She didn't want to see it through. She takes the deal. And in that moment, she is looking and she says, that's when she told Philip he was quiet and all this other stuff, all that happens, and he went off and all that stuff. In that moment, did you think she was going to go against the alliance of Philip, Letty, Seychelle, or was she? Did you think she was still going to go get Dixon?
I mean, taking out Dixon would essentially isolate CK from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There's no path forward for her. So I think at that point her only option was to pick either Seychelle or Lachelle,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise you've just screwed everyone. You've already called out one side. You have to kind of stick to the other and become their fourth.
Right.
But at the same time, you're becoming their fourth and you have pissed everyone off on that side. So no matter what, CK has made a very bad decision.
I agree. I did not like how she wanted to act like she was completely absolvent from the whole Maria Grace situation and like she had nothing to do with it. Like she didn't make the deal with Dr. Will and she was just like, "Oh, I was just brought into this plan and I just agreed."
No, we all
No.
know that wasn't the case.
No. And I'm like, "Okay, girl. Whatever. You keep playing that." But she does eventually go and take out Seychelle. And I was not happy because I was really enjoying Seychelle on this show. She kept it so very real. It was so good to watch. She didn't hold back words, but somebody had to go, and it was Seychelle, and I was devastated because, and I was,
Devastated.
but I was validated in just talking to her. And if you want to check out our interview with Seychelle, you can check it out. It'll be right there. Ding.
Yeah, up in the corner.
Yeah, go and talk, hear how she thought and what she felt about the game and her elimination. And she did not go out quietly, Jack.
She certainly did not. On the way out, she very much called CK out on basically all of her shit and said, the only reason you were put into a position of power is because you cheated. Even if that was almost a consequence of that happening, you still cheated, and that is what you will be remembered as.
Ooh.
Which...
And you have a flat ass. Mm-hmm.
And you have a flat ass, yeah. Which... Whoops!
So it's like, oh my.
That's why those comments in particular are why Seychelle leaving the show sucks more and more, because we lose our narrator. Mm-hmm. We lose the narrator for the first half of the season.
We lose someone who gave us really, really great commentary and great confessionals, and so I hate it. I hate it. I hate that she's gone. It drives me nuts. But I did love how her and Philip gave CK the 1-2 before she left. Like it was like, yep, bop, bop, bop for you. And I love it. It's just it drove me nuts. It drove me nuts to see her go. But she went out the way I expected and the way I wanted. And I love it. I love it for her. And I love it for us that we got to watch it and that we got to witness the show on our screens. And I need her back as soon as possible.
Whatever show we can do.
Whatever.
I do not care if it is a show filmed in someone's backyard. The minute we can get Seychelle back on a screen is the moment that I need.
I need it. I need it right now. I need it. She's such good TV. Such good TV. And look, I know some people might think she might be a little too real for TV, but baby, I love it. I absolutely love it.
We really do need honest people who will say their shit regardless of what's happening
Mm-hmm.
in order to balance out the people who are overly theatrical, playing for the camera. David.
Oh, oh, oh! You said it. I
But
didn't.
I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. But we obviously need balance, and this is unfortunately just a really, really hard hit.
Yeah, but she's gone. I'm sad. But we do go back to the um we go back to the camp, and everybody is just like, wow, that was something. That was explosive. Parvati and Letty even had a couple words back and forth because Parvati was like, oh, and the Tim was like, oh, Letty, you just said you were coming for her head. Like, what is that about? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, not as nice as you think she is. Like, oh my God. I'm like, Parvati, stop. Don't be
Parv,
cute.
don't do this right now. This woman has just had to put multiple people in danger for reasons she could not control. Let her breathe for a little bit, please.
I'm just like, I don't know if I am enjoying Parvati thus as much as I did in her Survivor days. I feel like she's being like, and here's the thing. I think she's always been this way, which is crazy. I think she's always been that whole playing it kind of cute, like making snide comments off the side. And sure, maybe that's who she has always been. But for some reason, in this season of this game, I'm not enjoying it as much as I did on Survivor. I don't know why.
Maybe it's a power imbalance kind of thing, because I mean, the times that we've seen it before was her original Survivor season,
Mm-hmm.
an all-star season,
Mm-hmm.
when she was on the Traders with a bunch of other reality TV people. This is the first time where she's on a show with non-reality TV people, and maybe when she is herself a reality TV person, and maybe that in particular is doing it.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, I I agree that I don't think this is Parvati's strongest game overall. I think she's trying to play this like Survivor, when the idea of having a majority alliance doesn't really mean anything in this game.
Yeah. It's interesting. I still like her. I still like Barbie. It's just
Oh yeah,
something. It's just something about her in this season of this show that is. I'm just like
that
taken
isn't
aback.
working.
Right. It's just taking me aback a little bit. But she's still Barbie, and she's still one of the best Survivor players. So yeah, respect there. But but then her and Letty also get into it because Letty is like, that was explosive. That was wild, and Barbie was like, she made some other comment, and Letty was like, don't be cute, Parvati. Like, don't do that. Like, it was, I don't know. But Lachelle was confused. She had no idea any of this was going on, which shows where she is in this game, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and CK was trying to still act like she had nothing to do with anything, but Dr. Will definitely called her out on it and was just like, the deal was made.
You knew.
You knew.
You knew. You were in the room while it was happening. You did not object. In fact, you made a deal with me specifically. So like, you were watching your own back. You were not an innocent participant who was just bystanding. Like,
Right.
no, you were involved. You were brought in.
You
Let's
were in
not
the
play games.
right. You were in the room when it happened, and you knew exactly what was going on. So let's not act like we, excuse me, did not know what was going down. It was, and that's what she was trying to play it like. She had no
Mm-hmm.
clue what was happening, why people were saying this. She didn't know what was going on. So it was just weird. It was just weird. But Parvati and David were thrilled with her, and they're gonna pull her into the group. I feel like she's gonna be part of the family now. Which, okay, sure, sure.
Yeah,
But
so we have these kind of. I mean, it is slightly solidified. We have a group of Letty, Philip, Dr. Will, Lachelle. They're all kind of grouped together at this point almost by force, although Letty and Dr. Will have definitely worked together before. Letty and Philip have definitely worked together before. Philip and Lachelle have worked together sometimes. Like it's a pretty decent group bond. And then we have Parvati, David, Dixon, and CK. CK essentially adopted herself into the family.
yeah,
Basically being like, hi, I'm Maria Grace's replacement.
right,
You're gonna accept me.
right,
But I mean, Parvati and David are much more likely to align with each other. Dixon is kind of like this third wheel, and Courtney is now this fourth wheel that is hanging onto the back and praying that the bolts don't come out.
right.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how this weird 4-on-4 mechanic develops.
Absolutely.
But speaking of 4-on-4, funnily enough, this challenge is now played in a 4-on-4 format.
Absolutely. And the winners of each thing from last week or the other day is going to be the team captains, which is Letty and CK. So they're going to be the team captains and they get to pick their team. So Letty gets to pick first because this game is about integrity. And Joe made sure to let us know that it was about integrity throughout the entire episode about integrity.
Integrity.
And I wonder why this was about integrity. CK.
There's no prevailing event that like does anything with this. None at all. Like it just
I mean,
it reminds me a lot of poker with integrity. In fact, it reminds me of 2-letter names.
I mean, I really, for some reason, am smelling Calvin Klein perfume. I don't know why. And I really want to put on some Calvin Klein underwear. I should go buy some Calvin Kleins, I think.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. But they go and Letty gets to pick first because Joe picks the names out of the box with himself. I'm not gonna let them pick because
I'm not gonna let them pick anymore. They burn that opportunity.
Some people cheat. So Letty picks first and she picks Philip. CK picks next. She picks David. Letty goes back. She picks Parvati. CK goes back and picks Dixon. Letty comes and picks Lachelle. And CK is stuck with Dr. Will. Which, okay, sure.
Simple.
That's just the way it goes. So what they have to do is the captains will have the ledgers with all the amounts of what's in the suitcases, and they will tell you to go grab a specific suitcase, and they will be the only people that know what the value of that suitcase is or the briefcase is, and your job is to go untie all the knots, bring it back. The first team to bring back all 6 cases and locks it in first, that's when the game will stop, and that's when whoever has the most money at the end will be safe. The whole team is safe. Now, all of that is good, but there is one case out there that is worth $0, but it also means safety for the captain and only the captain. So this is where the integrity comes in. Do you have integrity as a captain, to not have anybody pull out a 0 case, and so because you're taking money essentially away from your pot, or whatever, or do you send some money out there because you're only concerned about your safety and your safety only? And so they pick their order who's going to run first. David first, Poverty first, and CK and Letty send them both to get the highest case amounts, 2.5 million. So they run off, they go get the highest case, they come back. Then next is going to be Philip and Dixon.
Dr. Will.
Yeah, Philip and Dr. Will. Philip and Dr. Will. And so David comes back before Poverty. Dr. Will takes off. Now, Dr. Will and Philip and Letty have a conversation before the challenge in the rooms. And they were talking about a way to fix the challenges where Dr. Will put himself at risk. He's okay with being at risk, but he would rather them to be safe. And so if it's in pairs, he wanted them to pair up, and he'll pair up with somebody from the family and, blow the challenge. Just strictly blow it and whatever. And that way they'll be safe, he'll be at risk, and then he can try to play the banker and, be safe. But
nice and simple. But
simple.
I mean,
but then they found out they're playing in fours, so it kind of put a little hinky in the plan.
It did
a little bit.
But Philip and Letty have a conversation as Letty is telling Philip the cases. Hey, you're going to see Dr. Will out there. Make sure we're still good. Mm-hmm. And as Philip runs out, Dr. Will says, yeah, no, we're still on. We're good. Keep going. You're good.
And I think he meant that, but I think he also realizes what the significance if we need to lock in our cases. All of that happens, and it really didn't matter because he was on a team with someone who does not have integrity, apparently, because Philip and Dr. Will go out, they get their cases, they come back. CK sends out Dixon, and Lachelle's going to go out for the other team, and CK immediately sends Dixon to the $0 case. Immediately. She's
immediately, yeah.
I'm going to get this case. I'm going to be safe. I need it for me. So I'm going to send Dixon out to get it. And everybody's trusting CK at this point because David was like, I need to trust CK to show her that I trust her. She doesn't feel like anybody trusts her. I want to show that I can trust her. And Dixon is the same way. They want to show her that she can trust them and that, they're with her. But she sends Dixon for the $0 case. He goes and gets it, comes back. Everybody does all the cases. CK's team ends up bringing all 6 cases back first. So the game is over there, and Letty's team only has 5 cases. But Letty did not send anybody out there for the $0 case. She has integrity, and she showed that she was here for the team and the money pot effort and not for safety for herself. And so even with the 5 cases, they come back and they have accumulated $10 million in all the cases that they brought back. All the 5 cases, they brought back $10 million. But for CK's team, they open their cases and they have $8.75 million in all of the cases, all 6 cases, because CK wanted $0. That $0 case.
This is the one thing I don't understand about the strategy here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one case that is different beyond just the 0 and captain safety. CK tells someone to go get the $500,000 case.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe this is the last case they got just because they wanted to lock in the total.
Yes.
But, I mean, I would have been interested to see what happens if they do get the $1.75 million case and bring it back, and then we have a perfect tie of $10 million to $10 million. Because that was an option.
It was an option.
But, I mean, we also saw that Lachelle was quite literally footsteps
Mm-hmm.
behind Dixon. So if that happens, 100% Letty's team locks in the 6 highest value cases, and there's nothing the other team can do.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't change much, but we do at least have a little bit of strategy here. And CK decided to screw over 2 of her brand new alliance members
Mm-hmm.
in David and Dixon by throwing them against the by being like, yeah, no, we're going against the banker, but I am completely safe and there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely.
So the bottom 3 now is Dr. Will, David, and Dixon, the 3Ds.
3Ds. And they are safe. Well, not safe. They're at the bottom. So we get back to camp, and Dr. Will and David immediately is like, that's interesting what she did. Like, yeah, that $0 case. And Dixon was a little annoyed too. He was like, I tried to show her that I trust her, and this is what she do. She screws us over again. I just can't deal with it. So David and Dr. Will talking, and they make a deal, come up with a deal, because he's like, listen, I can ask Letty to put me in, and I could go for Dixon and not go for you. And he was like, will you be able to make that same deal to me? If you go in, would you go for Dixon and not for me? And Dave was like, yeah, I can do that. He was like, because I would rather not we cover both. And he's like, Will was like, I'm a man of my word. If I pick you, if you get picked, or if I get picked, I won't pick you. And if you get picked, you don't get pick me. And he was like, you okay with that? He's like, no, I mean, I'm not okay, but I can do it because I like Dixon. I've been, protecting Dixon, but sometimes in every game, somebody got to get let loose, even if it's the people who you like the most. And so David and Will shook on it. And I said, don't you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, have David, if he's willing to play the banker, betray one of his only allies, leaving him with Parvati and CK. That is
Right.
not happening.
Right.
Especially not after everyone else wants them gone. So,
Right.
yeah, no, this deal was never solid. It was a last-ditch effort from Will to make sure that if David did win, he's not directly going after Dr. Will, but we can see how well that works.
I mean, the question is, I wonder if Will would have actually stuck to the deal and actually not going after David and went after Dixon instead.
I feel like he would have actually probably knocked out Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
If Dr. Will is in play here, he has 2 options. Either he knocks out David, and David said, we made a deal. Your deals are now bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Will's basically only line of defense going forward is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Or Dr. Will knocks out a complete wild card, aligns himself to David, and essentially does the same thing that CK did with Maria Grace, basically going, yeah, no, I'm part of your alliance now. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Whether he actually follows through on that is an entirely different question.
Right. I don't know.
But
I feel like Will might have did it. He would have actually not went after David because one thing he said about himself, I might be a lot of things, but a liar I am not.
And Will is a smart player. Like, he's not going to make a move that doesn't make any sense. And hunting down David here doesn't work with his gameplay.
Right. But we see David go to Letty and he tells us he would like to play so he can have his fate in his own hands, all of that. Same conversations we have every time. Go to the temple, Letty puts David up and says, "You're going to play," because he wants to play. Great. Great. Even though Parvati is definitely against it, she does not want David to play. She was like, "No, I'd rather you be safe." David was like, "I'd rather play just in case, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
But David is up. David is playing. And he picks case number 7. That's his case. That's what he's going to go with. And his first round, really good round. He only knocked out one big number in the first round. But his deal was $200,000. He, of course, says no deal to that.
Yeah.
No makes sense. So then he goes and picks his next 4 cases. He knocks out a couple of high cases and a couple of low cases. So the deal goes up a little. It goes up to $625.
Yes.
Yeah, $625,000. He, of course, says no deal to that. So in the final round, he has to open up 2 cases. And he knocks out one of the big cases, one of the small cases, leaving either $2 million or $250. Those are the 2 cases left. And the banker offers him $999,999 because they are sick of hearing and $1 thanks to Luke.
Yeah.
And so
they were like, "That's going to be a weird number to write on tax forms. We're just going to we're going to give you the chance to make it less awkward."
Absolutely. And so David is going back and forth. He decides, I'm going to take that deal. So he takes the $999,999 deal and taking the pot up to $7 million something.
7,320,000, something like that.
Something like that. So finally the $1 is done. They finally got it rounded and he takes the deal. And he opens his suitcase and he has $250. And he chooses Will. In such a fashion, though, I will give him that. He did it in such a fashion. He was like, I made a deal with Dr. Will before. But when you secured $5 million, you also secured a bodyguard. And so I'm picking Dr. Will. And fair play.
Fair play. Yeah. I mean, no matter what, David was basically having to decide between 2 people who are going to cause chaos under pressure.
Right.
And Dr. Will had actively said he was kind of going after them. Dixon is his son.
Yes.
I don't even think the bodyguard matters here. I think it was just the right strategic decision. So
yeah,
it does really suck that we lose Dr. Will here. And officially he is on retirement. But going by Wes, that could mean fuck all. So we will... if we see Dr. Will on the Survivor Beach in like a year, no one is going to be surprised. But I mean, Dr. Will is a very interesting figure. I mean, we've even said it during the season. His style of play is very unique, and at points it can be very grating, but he is incredibly smart. He is very much a different flavor to a lot of reality TV contestants we get, and I am very happy to have had him on the show again.
I honestly think this might be the last time we see Dr. Will on reality TV, and that saddens me a little, but I understand because honestly, he doesn't need reality TV. He is one of the people who is on the show who really doesn't need it. He has a very lucrative practice outside of the shows that he does, and he's done it for a long time. And so now it's like he just want to rest and chill out and not deal with reality TV and just focus on his business, which I get, understand. Um, I wish he would have still been around longer, but
Mhm.
yes, his style was a little annoying at times for some people. Never for me. I enjoyed it, but I'm sure playing with it probably was annoying. Um, but he has done so much for reality TV, and so I'm like, take your rest, enjoy it. But if he decides that that's not it, and he wants to come back and say, see him on Survivor Beach in a year or two, or on Amazing Race, or something else like that, I would be happy for that. I would be like, great, do it. Let's make it work, and I will be happy to watch it. But it was fun seeing Dr. Will again actually play, and sad that he's gone. Honestly,
Yeah, it's a very tough bit, but
and
we
I'm
are
very
now very much looking towards the end game.
yeah, but I am very sad that we did not and won't get to talk to Dr. Will because
Hmm.
apparently our little podcast is not big enough to talk to Dr. Will, and that's fine. That's fine.
I understand it, but just means that we have more room to grow
Mm-hmm.
by getting the support of y'all.
Right, and we, if we can't talk to Dr. Will, we still got Seychelles, and that's just as
Exactly.
important. So, period. Um, but that is it. It has definitely this elimination with Dr. Will and Seychelles has opened up the game a lot, and lines have been drawn in the sand for some people, and so it's going to be interesting to see where this goes moving forward. And I feel like Philip, because Philip said in the earlier in the game when he was like, I don't understand how people just wake up the next day and feel like everything's great. We took a nap, we woke up, and everything's great again. Hey, and smile in the face. No, I'm still upset. He was still upset and still annoyed with what happened in Temple. And so now I want to see how that is going to play. Are people going to just move on like none of this actually happened? Or are we going to, yeah, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for your head, and I meant what I said. Like, it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic
Be
between
very
Parvati and Philip are just severed.
Everything is on fire, but I think that makes it all the more entertaining.
Absolutely. But that's going to do it for us today. We are going to get out of your way because we said all we can say. So y'all know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the follow us in this channel, notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Help us reach our goal. We appreciate it. Follow all of our other channels. All of those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon links, our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, and where you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And you can follow me and Jack as well on our Twitters and Blue Skies and all of those things. So we're gonna get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Bye. And I will go so underground that Harriet Tubman will have to come and tell you to run. Don't forget that.